A while ago, me and my Italian husband decided to move to Italy, so we packed up our things and we drove our way there. We are planning to start up a new life here, living closer to nature and learning how to work the land. All of that whilst enjoying the perks of living close to beautiful mountains. We start our journey in an old abandoned family house that was built in the early 60s. I invite you to follow us during this renovation and decoration works and see us turn this house into our new home. Spring gave us a warm start this year, to then quickly turn into cold, rainy days, which held me back in all my renovation plans. But we took our time, though, to enjoy the sun while she was there. It's a year and a half ago now that we moved into this house. It had been abandoned for about 6 years prior, which meant that a lot of maintenance tasks hadn't been followed up upon. The white paint on the outside wall around the entrance was peeling off, which gave the house a bit of a haunted house look. But the first months we took time to first fix up the things on the inside, so that we could live there more comfortably. And when we finished doing that, and the weather was getting better again, I just didn't want to come home to the spooky look anymore. A strange thing about these walls is that they have been painted in 2015, a little less than 10 years ago. Upon inspection of the paint, I very strongly suspect that the painter used the same paint as he used on the walls inside. I would think that he had paint over and then decided to use it up outside, instead of going for an extra batch of outside paint, which is more expensive than the paint for the inside. The woman that lived here was in her 90s, so she wouldn't have noticed that an improper job was done. Neither did she notice how swiftly and sloppy everything was painted. I don't want to take the habit of complaining, but this mistake has cost me a lot of extra work. In a professional paint shop, they advised me that there is only one way to go about it. They laughed, and with a teasing sparkle in their eyes they said, "Elbow grease." So, elbow grease it is. First, I scraped off everything that came off more easily by hand. This took me a good 2 or 3 days and a lot of pain in my pulse. Then I continued with an electrical sander for the more stubborn bits. To fix the holes and damages in the wall, I used a type of fast-drying cement that they call gesso over here. Figuring out how to take away the shutters was quite a task. I felt that the pin was stuck and it didn't want to come out, but I didn't know that I was looking for such a tiny screw in order to dismantle everything. I used the pressure washer to get rid of all the dust and dirt so that the paint would attach better. And after letting the walls dry for a few days, I treated them with a product that serves as both a sealant for porous surfaces and as a glue for the paint to adhere to. In the paint shop, they advised me to use this product because of the flaky history of the wall and also because there was a thin layer of plaster on it. Here you can see well the color that I picked. We chose to stay with white, but I picked a white that had a bit of a warm greenish grey tint in it. Like this, it wouldn't be a very flashy bright white, nor would it become rather yellowy or creamy. In the paint shop this color just has a coat, but I think I would call it raw cotton. Bye bye, haunted house. Now that the face of the house looked more friendly, I also wanted to make the garden around a bit more cozy. It looked a bit sad and overgrown. It's fine. Oh, fine, my love. Wow, look how much that one wanted to go in the full ground. Poor thing.
Wow. Is it interesting?
No. If only it was, sweetie, if only it could infest. Then people wouldn't have to pay so much money to it. Now this vase will be useful. Now we really like to hang around in this little corner of our garden. Also, our front door was quite weather-beaten and in need of some love. Both sun and rain reached to the bottom part of this door, and over the years they damaged the varnish and the wood underneath. Luckily enough, nothing started rotting yet. So I decided to keep it simple and sand off the damage and then give it a new layer of protection against the elements. Side-by-side comparisons can be really motivating. I really like the unfinished color of the wood, but sadly enough, you can't keep wood outside like that if you don't want it to become very weathered. So I opted for a colorless varnish in order to preserve the natural color. But the wood absorbed it like a sponge and took a darker color. The color lightened up a bit while drying though, and it looks much better now than it did before. whatever I would use to clean this wall would run into the plants. So I just used some water and some extra elbow grease. I added some pigment to the leftover outdoor paint that I still had and mixed this sand color. I wanted to stay at the same color value as the original gray, but I just didn't really like the gray and went for something a little bit warmer. When we just moved into this house, you could clearly tell that no one had been living in it for a while. While now, it looks more loved and fresher. But I know what you are thinking. But Erica, where are all the decorations? Well, don't you worry. I consider this a blank canvas to apply some magic to. But that will be for next time. And now we are going for a little walk in our beloved mountains. With views like this, it's not hard to imagine that you're surrounded by a fairy tale. Thank you for watching, and I wish you a lovely day.
Oh, I hope that thing doesn't come into the car.
I hope it does.